Good to go. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Smokin' Tobacco Show. I'm Matt Tobacco from SmokingTobacco.com, and I'm joined once again, as always, by Mr. Jonathan M. Carney from the Hacking Gourmet Cooking Show, and I don't know, a couple other titles that he has that he holds, but those aren't important right now. No, he is from the Florida Dominicana, and tonight we have two special guests from Protocol Cigars. We have Juan Kevin, and I'm going to butcher it again, Kevin. It's Kevin Kythen?
You got it right.
Oh, I got it. I got it.
Nailed it.
It took me 5 years to get that right. You got it right in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I got lucky there. Yeah, so guys, welcome to the show. You guys, first time to the show, welcome. It's a little bit of a hodgepodge of a show. We talk cigars, we talk sports, we talk soap. I don't know if John told you what that means or what exactly that entails, but I guess you'll find out. And so so I have a special announcement I want to make on the show tonight. We have now partnered with McAuliffe Cigars, and so tonight we are smoking the McAuliffe Herencia Habano. That's how I'm smoking on the show, because we announced our partnership with them this week. So we wanted to bring that up tonight, and we're really excited to be a part of that. Other than that, gentlemen, I'll start with John, then we'll go to our guest. Actually, no. John, you can wait. We do this all the time. We'll go to our guests. What are you guys smoking over there?
I am smoking a Sir Robert Peel Natural.
I'm smoking a Sir Robert P. Maduro.
Interesting. Now I don't.
9 times out of 10, that's what we smoke back. He's always doing a natural. I'm doing a Maduro.
Yeah, it's my first cigar of the day. Figured that. But interesting note on your new sponsor, McAuliffe. I just got some from the Royal Leaf. I did an event with them, and they had some, and they were fantastic.
Yeah.
Really nice cigars. Never heard of them before.
Yeah, they're an up and comer. They have some really cool stuff. I really like the Leenda line that they have. It's one of my favorites. The Herencia is really good as well. Specifically the Habano, which I'm smoking tonight. I haven't lit it yet, but I'm going to light it in a second. That's a really good one as well. They have the whole passport program with their ambassador program. So they got a lot of interesting stuff going on that's a little bit different for a manufacturer that I haven't seen before. And so we're really excited to dive into it. It's something different. It's something new. And sorry, I got distracted there for a second. I thought we had a little show trouble, but everything's fine. They really cool stuff coming out of there. Both the cigars you guys are smoking, I don't think I've actually had myself yet. I have to get on that. What can you tell me about those?
So this was our last year's release for the trade show.
Okay.
And this was the first time that we actually did a more of a regal-looking kind of packaging. Because all our regular cigars, the core line, have a very new wave kind of look, more modern art. Like you see the way the P is behind us is very geographic. It's geographic. Did I say that right? I'm totally wrong, right? Three-dimensional. That's what I mean. So it's different. So it's very artsy, and that's been. And you look at the core line, and with the 4 releases in the core line, every release has been unique, but there's still some sort of uniformity to it. They all look, there's a wooden box with the modern P and everything. So this was the first one, the Sir Robert Peel, where we actually did higher end boxes. It was just straight up square box before. Now it's got the molding around it, and it's beautiful. It's shellac, gold lettering, and even the actual band is more of a traditional looking band as compared to that modern looking artistic P.
Right.
This has the medallions on the side with somebody on it. And the person it's on, it's actually Sir Robert Peel. Because our cigars basically, when we were coming out, we thought about how do we make ourselves different? Because there's so many great cigars in the market. Like if anybody went into any humidor and any shop, any brick and mortar, closed their eyes and just walked around and picked 10 cigars, you're probably going to pick 10 great cigars. So that's in our opinion was like a lot of, because we were consumers, and a lot of the cigars out there, including LFD and many others, just great products. So how do you stand out in that sea of greatness? And the only way you could really do it, because the product speaks for itself. But the only way we decided to do it was let's focus and let's pull from our life experience. And Bill and I were law enforcement officers, so we said let's do this a law enforcement theme. And we knew going into that there were going to be times when society hates cop and times when society loved cop. That's just the roller coaster of life. Like right now, it's at a low. 9/11, it was at a high, and COVID first hit. It was first responders. It's just that's the way it went. But we knew that was going to happen, and we still went forward with it. So when we did that more regal line, we had to do something regal, and what we did was Sir Robert Peel. And Sir Robert Peel is a British Prime Minister, and in 1829, he created what's known as Peel's Principles, where he basically did a set of 9 principles that now even he's considered to be the father of modern day policing, because even today, if you take police sciences, one of the first things you learn is Peel's Principles, where he said that the police has a structure, a uniform, they should serve under certain guidelines of help the public and all that stuff. So it really defined and structured what modern day policing is today. So, and again, what sounds more regal than something called Sir Robert Peel. So
yeah, it definitely sounds regal. It's almost like the Byron line from Selected Tobacco, from named after Lord Byron. So yeah, I kind of get where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. So John, what are you smoking tonight? I assume something. And
I can't hear him.
I can't hear him either. His audio's gone.
Okay.
Some people like that to not hear me. Which, whatever. They're not gonna have a choice. So I was telling people before, man. Before the show, before we started the show, Matt and I, which this was this started with COVID. We'd met shortly before it, and then we became friends over COVID. I was kind of unexposed during the beginning of COVID, so we started this show because I wasn't exposed enough, and I didn't feel like people wanted me or needed me. Now they're forced upon it by watching the show, so they have to have it. No, I intended on smoking a Protocol Lanceros. I have 2 of them. I got one that's the yellow. It's got the yellow band on. I believe there's one with the blue.
Right, there's the
red.
Themis, and the Protocol. Well, we have Lanceros in 3 of our lines. The yellow one or the gold one is called the Themis, and then the blue one is the Protocol, and the red one is the Probable Cause. So we do have 3 Lanceros.
Yeah.
So I've got the yellow and I've got the blue,
Okay.
and I thought they were physically here in Maine, so I didn't bring them back with me when I got back yesterday. They're actually in Miami, so I don't have the Protocols that I wanted to smoke today. And I had those for about almost a year and a half, maybe 2 years now.
Nice.
Delicious.
Tristan Oldwire had given it to me.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to trying it. He brought it to me. He actually, I used to joke around when I play a game, like I'm going to ask you guys this, like if you could identify as a cigar, like if there was a cigar that was you, what would it be?
I probably would. You talking about a Vitola?
No, like just like it could be a Vitola or it could be a brand of cigars. Like if you were, you own a brand, so it's unique. But so
Right,
pick
so
what cigar represents you?
I'm not going to use the Protocol because that would be an easy, cop out, quote unquote, right? I'm going to say what represents me would be. Oh, I got it. Espinosa's Comfortably Numb.
Wow.
That'd be a good representation of me.
Padron 1926.
Wow, you're fancy.
Yeah.
But you know what? When people pick Padron 26s, they feel really highly of themselves. So how this came about was I was
I'm getting killed now.
There we go.
We were all talking about what cigars we were. And by the way, Kevin, I picked Padron 1926 for myself too.
Oh, what a surprise!
So they're like, "Oh, that's pretty high end." So Tristan, at this time, I think Tristan might have been 19 or 20. He just got into, he'd been in the military for about a year or whatever. He's just getting into cigars, and everybody's busting his balls. And he's like, "Oh, I'd be such and such like this." And I said, "No, you wouldn't." I go, "You'd be a Rocky Patel. It's a boy." So Tristan, like a year and a half, maybe 2 years later, he comes to an event that I'm doing, and he's got some cigars in his pocket, but I can't see what they are. And he's like, hey, man, he's like, I brought something for you special. I want you to try. And he pulled out a Rocky Patel, It's a Girl, and gave it to me. And I'm like, you asshole. And he's like, nah, I'm just joking, man. He's like, I brought you 2 Protocol Lanceros. And so I saved those, and I was going to break those out today. But I'm actually finishing off a 700 Maduro, and I think I might back it up with a Digger.
Nice.
Well, that's a big stick, yeah. Well,
but
the
to touch on what you guys were saying, like the Regal look, I think there's 3 real Regal looking brands of cigars in the market. You guys with the Sir Robert Peel, certainly one of them. The Byron and Atabays are another. And then there's actually a brand called Lord Baltimore.
Wow.
That's a cigar that Davidoff, a private label that Davidoff has in Maryland. But I put you kind of in that group in terms of the appearance. And when you do see those products, they do certainly stand out. And it was, the way I viewed it was a really big departure from what you all had done before. And I think geometric is actually the proper term.
Okay, just want to make sure.
But he said geographic.
I think I said geographic.
Oh,
He said geographic.
He did say geographic.
Then I was asking him. I knew after I said it because Kevin's like my, he proofreads. Did I say that
I'm the
right,
fact
Kevin?
checker.
Yeah, he's the fact checker. So I knew when it came out of my mouth, I was like, I'm trying to be fancy. I'm just so
do you mean like
kind of goes back.
geometric?
Yeah, geometric. That's what I wanted to say. And I said geographic, like National Geographic. Shut up. That's what
I was gonna say national.
That's what I feel like saying. Shut up. So listen. And it's funny, like the marketing, and not so much the marketing, but the true fundamentals of that first core line was it was the working man cigar, because you guys, both of you guys are more of fancier people, fancier men. Kevin and John. So you are Padrones. I'm more of a regular guy. So we kind of did that whole entire field was more of the average working Joe's cigar. The plumbers, the sanitation guys, the cops, the firemen. That is what we were looking for. And that's always been kind of our base, our jump off line. Like, boom, this is who we want. We want the average Joe. You're not gonna, if you want a Padron, or Fuente, those are phenomenal cigars, but they're a little cost a little bit more and whatever. We are more just the average Joe kind of cigar. So that's the kind of line we went with. But when we did for our 5th offering, we wanted to do something just so out of the box, so different, a complete 180 from what we've been doing. So we did the whole fancier, Regal looking, the thing. The packaging came out really gorgeous. And, our thing was, Regal as fuck. That was like a joke we had going on with it. I don't know if you could curse in this, but I just did. Who cares?
No,
but,
you can't.
being more Regal. Okay. Being more Regal, and the sentiment was even a plumber, a cop, a fireman, the average working Joe, every once in a while wants to get dressed up in a nice 3-piece suit and go somewhere nice and have a really higher end experience. So we wanted to do that and show that even the average Joe wants to put his pinky up sometimes. And that was like kind of the marketing we did with that. And it worked out very well. We can't keep these things in stock.
But we didn't price it off the rails.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kevin.
We didn't price it off the rails, $11.95 MSRP. So it's not a huge jump if you're looking at our Lanceros. They're in the $10 price range already. So it wasn't a massive jump, but it's a more Regal look, and
because it costs us more. Everything,
it does,
everything you look at that,
it's more premium tobacco.
John, when you put that packaging together, it's going to cost you more. So we got to raise our prices on that a little bit.
Yeah, but I think it shows.
Yeah, it was obviously successful for you because you're continuing it now. With honestly a Regal look for something that's maybe not as Regal,
right.
With the Elliot Ness coming out, which is the ultimate, essentially one of the more famous cops, I would say.
Right. Yes.
The Untouchables.
Right.
So you have the Elliot Ness coming out, and I think that's a unique transition from honestly, I think it plays great respect to that field too. It's a Regal, looking thing. I think more classic police, the way, there was a lot of pomp and circumstance around it. So if you would, you see the look of Elliot Ness, it does have that Regal look to his appearance too. So I think it's a great transition where you guys are now. But what was the thought with that branding?
So we want to, it was just a bold move for us to go from, because there were people in the industry that were saying, you guys, you are getting out of your element now. This is not you. This is not who you guys are. You guys have a certain kind of following already. The average Joe thing, why are you not going to that market? and it was a lot of questions. But it wasn't so much we were going to that market. We were still, trying to go for the average Joe. But even the average Joe, sometimes like I said, he wants to get dressed up, and instead of a Budweiser with a cigar, which is great, every once in a while he wants a Scotch. It just sometimes for whatever it is, on a Friday night you got a promotion or whatever, you want to smoke a little bit of a higher end thing. So we wanted to give the average Joe that experience. And then when we first did the Cigar P, it was such a hit. And we were like, all right, what do we do next? What's next? So we had the idea of something what we called the Lawman series, where you basically have, in Hollywood and society, sometimes, you see criminals are often romanticized. They are glorified. You got your Al Capones, your Bonnie and Clyde, your Billy and the Kid, all these movies about them. But you very rarely hear about the lawmen that spend hours away from their families having to go and catch these guys. So we were like, let's do that. And then we were like, so what's the first one? So we called it Lawman Series. And then we wanted to continue. It's going to be in that Regal line. So all the boxes are going to be nicer looking. The packaging is going to be nicer. So basically what we did with the Elliot Ness was just basically change the image and then change the colors. But it's going to be the same looking band. So again, it's going to be a series. And our basic on the series was just basically paying homage to the hard workers of law enforcement. So if this continues and everything goes well, then next year we'll have the third installment in the Lawman series, and then the fourth and the fifth, and continuing. But we're not going to what's the word I'm looking for? Neglect our core line. We mentioned it already on Coop's show. We're actually coming out with a fifth protocol in the core line called the Cybercrimes Unit.
Wow.
Will the first blend be David Caruso or whatever his name is from CSI Miami?
So you may not know, but my day
You're gonna
job.
learn. Listen to this one.
Yeah, I work in internet security. So I've been in the field for about 17 years now, and kind of gives a little homage to what I do for my day job, and then we can tie it back to the whole law enforcement theme of the company. So I wanted to come out with the Cyber Crimes Unit. It's going to be a green pea, coming out with one size to start, which is the box press Churchill that we also make in the Probable Cause. I'm really excited about it. I think the green pea stands out. We've had a couple of shirts with the green pea for golfing and things like that, and we never came out with it, but the Cyber Crimes Unit is going to be a big hit, I think.
That's really cool.
I think both
like
of them are
that.
going to be.
Yeah, well, both are going to be a big hit, but
I like that. I like the theme behind that. That's cool. Cyber Crimes Unit. That's interesting.
Yeah, and you kind of think of the green cyber crimes. There's going to be a whole theme with that in the packaging too, so we're excited about it.
Yeah.
So like with everything, all our marketing is basically like we said, and we knew there were going to be ups and downs throughout our history because of the way society is at whatever given moment, or life events that happen in a given moment in life. But we wanted to do something, and again, that's what we chose to be. That was our different angle, our different take on it. So the first one was protocol, because all police follow protocol, and protocols are you see it all the time. Basically, it's following rules and whatever. The next one was the probable cause, and without probable cause, it's basically the backbone of policing. Probable cause. Without probable cause, you cannot arrest, you cannot stop for something, you can't do anything. So we call it a probable cause. The gold was the Themis. And Themis is actually the Greek goddess of justice. She's Zeus's first wife. Her job was to maintain law and order in the Greek god world, and that's where they got the inspiration for the Lady of Justice. And you see in all the courthouses, Justice is blind, and she's holding up a scale and a sword. That's basically a representation of Themis. And then the fisherman's conduct, that was just a play, because when the cops get in trouble, they get charged. That's the first charge you always get. Was the fisherman's conduct. We were like, sometimes you want to act naughty, so you get charged with a fisherman's conduct. And now the fifth one is going to be the Protocol Cyber Crimes Unit.
Well,
so we're excited about that.
You guys have definitely a nice, a lineup of names. The theme's cool. You guys are just different, and I really like it. And what's interesting is I have heard of Protocol. I think I've seen your cigars in a shop. I want to say like once or twice. I live up here in the Northeast. And I haven't seen you guys in many retails up here. I mean, I don't know, Kevin, maybe if you know anyone in the Northeast who actually carries it. I'm in the
We're about. That's actually our strongest area. Where are you in the Northeast?
I'm just outside of Boston, in like 20 minutes south of the border, New Hampshire.
All right, so we are in New Hampshire, right?
Yeah.
We just got in there.
Castro's back room.
Castro's back room in New Hampshire.
Okay.
All six locations.
All six locations.
6 locations. They buy to one and then they ship. So I forget how many they actually have.
And then we're in Rhode Island, and about 4 or 5 spots in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
Up in there. I love Rhode Island, by the way. I fell in love with Rhode Island. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, we have a rep up in that area.
Gaggers, for you guys that don't know. You know what a gagger is, John?
I don't. John might.
I've heard of them before. I was honorary Rhode Island citizen for like 2 years, and then I had an affinity towards Italian women, and then I just couldn't do it anymore. So I've heard gaggers before.
They're basically hot dogs, but they're phenomenal.
With some like hot sauce and stuff.
It's crazy. It's bananas.
Yeah, New York. Have you been to New York system?
That's the one. That's where you get the gaggers from.
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah, they're good. And you get coffee milk.
Coffee milk. That's it. Coffee milk.
Coffee milk.
No, I
tremendous.
haven't spent too much time in Rhode Island myself, even being from New England. But I do know, not only is it nice, but I know there's a lot of cigar shops down there. From what I hear.
Yeah, we're in like the major ones. All the major ones we were in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, I got a question. I don't know if you've ever been asked this before. When you're dealing with cigars now that have people's names involved, how does that work? Is there a process that goes into that, or
we have a lawyer.
To use Robert Peel?
So as long as the person's been dead for, I think, a minimum of 80 years, you can use that without no problem.
Really?
Yes. Something along legally, I don't know exactly. I forgot what it was, but like 100 years, 80 years, whatever. And then when you put protocol in front of it, it changes the name. So hopefully we don't have any problems. But the lawyer said we should be good.
Yeah.
I think Elliot Ness died in 50, so it must be less than 100.
Maybe 80, something like that. He died in 1950 something. I forgot what year it was.
I think it's 56 or 7.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I haven't heard that before.
We talked to the lawyer. They took it. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because you don't. I think another thing too that's unique is a lot of older Cuban brands used to have people's faces on them, right? Like you had Bolivar had people's faces on it, and you haven't seen many cigars in the market for the last at least 10 years. In my opinion, you don't see a lot of faces on cigars, which I think is a big thing that makes your product stand out. And it's not these aren't fictional people either, so it's at least a recognizable character, no?
Right. Yes. And what we're doing is we're not so much making money off their names. Like if I did a Marilyn Monroe soap, I'm basically want to make money off her name. We're doing this to pay homage to these, like, and you wouldn't even know how many people have never heard of Sir Robert Peel, and because in the cigar world, they'll go Google it, like, oh wow, I never even knew who Sir Robert Peel was, and they'll read up on this person, and so it's basically doing just to bring awareness to who these iconic figures in law enforcement are.
Yeah, and if I go to an event, I automatically know who is in law enforcement because they come up and they go, do you know who Sir Robert Peel is? I go, I absolutely know who he is because of my partners. They're cops. And he was like, the guys are always like, yeah, I learned about him the first thing in criminal justice classes. You learn about Sir Robert Peel and the Peel's Rules of Order.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And it's great what you guys do. Obviously here at the show, we're big law enforcement supporters, no matter what the circumstances are.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for doing what you do and what you did and what you still do to pay homage to it. So, for us, it's always big supporters of that stuff. So
I appreciate that. Let's have a toast. I know you guys are drinking water, but Kevin and I are not. Let's have a toast. Toast to all those law enforcement guys.
This is another reason why I didn't have alcohol, because I think the last time you and I were on a show, like I was hungover for like a week. I think I had like 3 bottles of wine. You and I were playing a drinking game with each other. It got out of control.
One can make that happen.
It's fun. Listen, it's fun. When we're at an event or people see me, there's only one Michael Herklots in this world. I don't need to be a fat Michael Herklots. It's only one. Like he'll be dressed in a 3-piece suit and look phenomenal. That hair is.
I think Michael's watching with us tonight too.
And then shout out to Mike. And then he's gonna tell you what brandies are gonna pair with this cigar. Like that's kind of everybody is there's places for that. and I'm not gonna try to be that. I'm gonna be myself. Let's have some drinks. Let's break each other's balls. Let's laugh, have a good time. Listen to some music, and think be us.
Yeah.
And that's what. And again, what's unique about us is that even Kevin and myself and our former partner Bill, we were all consumers. We were all consumers that were cigar geeks, and it just so happens that the stars aligned the right way, and we were able to get a company. And now we're on the other side of the fence. So we could have been like, "Hey, this is where we're at," or like in reality, like you're just a regular guy, and we hit the lotto, and we got a cigar company. So we're gonna be regular guys, just acting. We have a protocol. This is great, man. Let's have some laughs. So that's
you kind of started that way though, with the Guayavera shirt.
Yeah, in the beginning we weren't ourselves, and it didn't feel right. So very quickly we stopped doing that. I think there's only like 2 people in this industry that looks good in Guayaberas. Carlito Fuente is one of them, and AJ Fernandez. Everybody else looks fake wearing. In my opinion, I could be wrong. I look at pictures now when I had the Guayabera on and the hat. I was like, look at this buffoon.
So what the reason? I'm with you on that a little bit. Because what's the first thing that pops in your head when you see somebody wearing a Guayabera and like the Carlito Fuente hat? You're like, what was that person trying to be Carlito Fuente?
Right.
Yeah.
No. I've never not said that in my head or
right.
That's like Jay-Z with the Yankees hat. It's like that iconic look.
I wore a Guayabera to my job one time, and they were like, "What is this? A bowling shirt? What is this? Like, you're a barber? What's all the pockets? You're gonna have pens in all the pockets?" And I'm like, "All right, mental note: never wear this to work again." But because I was going to an event or something like that. But in the beginning, I was like, something, this is not us. And then we just started being normal and being ourselves. And I think being ourselves and being the, I like to. I'm not an alcoholic by any means, but when I drink, maybe I drink too much, and I have a good time, and we have laughs, and that's what we're known for. Just having a good time.
It's not every day.
Not every day, but today might be one.
But I would go to the events, and they would be dressing down, but I would come in a blazer and a button down and some jeans and whatever. But that's kind of what I do. That's me.
That's him.
That's what I do. For
all you gotta do is be yourself.
Be yourself. Man.
And I'm in my shorts and my T-shirt and my hat or whatever, sneakers, and I'm talking to the people, and we're having a good time. And
people respect it.
And I'll explain the cigars. I know the blends, and I'll talk to them, and they ask. But then after we're done that, I'm like, yo, what's let me buy you a beer or whatever. Boom, let's what's and we start talking or whatever, and it's been very successful for us.
You show up at an event, Kevin's in a blazer and a nice shirt. It's like, hey, the cops are already here. What is this guy? He must be the tax. We're getting ready for an audit.
I've actually started dressing down. I just wear the Protocol polos now and stuff. But with COVID, we haven't done any real major events in a while.
Just the virtual ones, and they've been very
ones.
good.
Yeah.
John,
let's talk about that for a second. How COVID has changed this industry in the sense that it's really showed us the value of these virtual aspects of it. And I don't think, even if tomorrow we went back to normal, I don't think this is going to go away. I think this is going to continue, and it's going to change the way we do business. Like, not 100% where there's still going to be, but now it's been proven that it works. You do an event somewhere, and there's people that might support you and want to get this deal, but they don't live in whatever state that or area where your brick and mortar is. So it's just another tool. I think it's.
Thank God we've had this studio. I mean, we built this in my garage, and now we have the office here. But without it, we would have been at a detriment. But we embraced, internet security. I can figure out a podcast studio. And, we embraced it early on. We did some major events with some small shops, one in New Jersey, one in Bath, Pennsylvania, my hometown, and they were off the charts. They did more business that day than if we would have done an in-store event, which just shows the power of the virtual and the social media aspect of this.
I know that speaking with a lot of other friends in the industry and people I know and stuff like that, there's a lot of manufacturers and brands and stuff like that who they hadn't really gotten on the social media bandwagon. And I'm not going to call anybody out here because that's not my style. But, there's a lot of big names, smaller names. And when the COVID thing happened, it was like, well, that's your only option. And so everyone was just forced to go into the social media bandwagon. And it wasn't just like, Instagram, Facebook. It was like the Zooms and like even like the live streams where people would just go live on the company accounts, and it would be like the owner or a rep or a couple of reps, and they'd all just be sitting around smoking and talking with each other and talking to the audience and stuff like that, and making it very interactive. And it's cool because and you make a good point. Like even without coronavirus and quarantine and all that other stuff, you know, when you think about it, it's like you do an in-store event, which is great, and I'm not knocking in-store events. I think those are still good, but you know, you don't have to travel to all the shops, so there's less cost involved. You know, you set up at the office, you get your you guys have a nice little studio set up there. You get that set up, and you go online, and you know, you just project to the people on the computer, and they can do it from their homes. They don't have to go out, even in a setting where they're not, it's not like I'm saying, like the quarantine, yes, but even without quarantine, people like to be comfortable. People don't like to, people like to go out, but people also like to also sit in their underwear on the couch and get on their laptop. And so they can do that
1,000%.
And still have that interaction with you guys and people like you and John and all these other people, and still be smoking, watching, talking, interacting, and they don't have to get up and go to their local shop, or maybe it's late at night and people are doing this too. And that's the other thing. It was going off at all hours of the night. I remember the first 3 weeks I was home, because I unfortunately, I had to step away from my job from it too, because we all got shut down. But people were it was insane. There was the live streams were going all hours of the night. People were watching too, because people were all home and they had nowhere else to be. So it was great, because it was like this mass influx of like all these meetings or streams of people getting together. And it wasn't just the influencers, it was manufacturers and distributors and all that kind of stuff too. So it really put a nice cast out there for everybody, and I feel like there's a lot of brands who really grew during that time as well, because they were able to create the platform and get it out there and have people know who they were, especially people who really didn't have a presence online. And what do people like to do? It's 2020. They like to go on their phone and they like to Google, Protocol Cigars. And I mean, just as an example, and if you don't have like a lot of going on online, it's like, oh, okay, but then you all of a sudden you're putting all this out there, and people there's a lot for people to see and interact with. I think it's a great tool, and it's a lower budget in a sense too, because it's like I said, you don't have like the travel costs and all those costs, the swag costs to give away at the shows at every shop you go to. So I think it's a industry.
It's worked awesome for us, and I can go to events now.
Tell them about our room too, where you're at.
Oh yeah.
That's another aspect of it.
So I go to events now. We just did Protocol Pool Party, and one guy was there, and he goes, "Yay! I was coming to this event, heard about you guys." So I went on the internet and I started watching your live streams. And we have a podcast. We don't do a whole lot with it, but we post some videos from time to time and just talk about the antics of Protocol, and it's fun. And he goes, "I watched." He goes, "You guys do a great job." And he was like bringing up stuff to me. It was like he knew me, It's like, how do you know that? And he goes, "You mentioned it on one of the podcasts and stuff." So it was pretty cool. But yeah, early on when COVID hit and I was stuck at home working from home for internet security, Cigar Dojo started a virtual room in a whereby, and it's open 24 hours just for their members to go in and hang out. Well, I'm a dojo fan, and I started hanging out in there and met a lot of cool people. And was spending hours in there in between my meetings and at night. And they gave us a call and they said, "Do you want to sponsor this? Be the Protocol Cigar Dojo Virtual Lounge?" And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm in. Like, that was the first thing we've ever paid in marketing, and it's paid us massive dividends. We have a blast in that room. We have a lot of fun, but it's open 24 hours and we get new faces. We're in last night. We get some more faces in on a regular, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
That's really cool.
What I found that really what this did for the cigar industry, it forced creativity.
Yes.
Retailers had to get creative, where there's a lot of talk of retailers should do this or do that. And we've been in rooms together where I watch manufacturers bitch about the people that buy their cigars, which I think is stupid. But it turns into a bitch fest. Oh, the retailers should do this. The retailers should do that. These people are making you money. What are you talking about? They should or shouldn't do. But it forced creativity on the retail level, and it forced creativity on the manufacturer level all at the same time. And whenever you have creativity happening, good stuff happens. And I think that's a reason why you're seeing a lot of success in the cigar business right now, is because of that creativity. And people are bought in on it. People can sit and talk to me. They can talk to you. They can really connect with the brand in a way they never did before. And it's almost more, I don't know if you guys feel this way. It's almost more personal this way than it is even in person.
Oh, it's crazy. Like a bunch of guys that I've met in the virtual room, I got to meet in person, and I feel like I knew the guy for years, right? Because I get to spend time with them, and I wouldn't be at a local shop with them. And eventually, we're going to get back to that. But I get to hang out with these people and really know them, and they were fans of us, and we do it different. Like, you come into our room, you don't have to smoke Protocol. I don't care. What are you smoking? Don't care. I smoke other stuff too. We're not crazy on there and say, oh, you come into our room, you got to smoke Protocol. I know it's in the rotation, but I like new guys come in and they're like, hey, I saw it on Dojo, don't know much about Protocol, and we're in. We can tell you about it. And all of a sudden we notice the sales are starting to pick up. So it's been amazing for us to really get that personal contact, interaction, and really get to know the guys that support us. It's been amazing because we don't have a big travel budget. We're a small company, right?
Right.
We're fortunate that we're at a point where we can have an office in the studio, and it's awesome. We get some friends and supporters that come out on a Thursday and Friday to hang out with us when we're doing these podcasts. They're in the other room. Actually, I got it streamed Chromecast on the TV for them, so they're watching. But it's just it's a different time, and you got to think outside the box, like you're saying. And retailers, Juan said it many times, but you're not going to see many retailers not having some sort of an online presence in the future.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to at this point, right?
And whether it's sales or it's actually interacting with people on a virtual sense, on an online, there's just such more. It's now more acceptable, and it's a normal interaction because it was forced creativity, and it's definitely a big change and definitely a big scramble to what's going on. And I think there's still more creativity with this, even when we meet in person, and we can do that again. There's still going to be this element because, as I said, it's a personal touch. You're saying, Kevin, too, like I've met people online through this. When I meet them in person, we now have actually something to talk about other than just the cigar or buying it. We sit down and we already have a conversation going. There's already dialogue that's been placed. It's huge. It's irreplaceable.
What it's about. Let's talk about your family, your kids, how you doing, like. Just let's get to know each other. I can talk about Protocol if you want me to, but, at the end of the day, once I tell you about it and if you enjoy it, that's great. But let me get to know you as a person. I'm a people person. I'm very social. Juan's the same way.
Look, here's a perfect example of what we're all talking about and what you're talking about too also, John. I hate to use the word fan, so I take that out of vocabulary. But one of our supporters that we actually met through the virtual room, knows that I like Star Wars, and his son is autistic, and one of the tools he came across, he bought him a 3D printer, and he does things on a 3D printer, and it helps him. However, it helps him like.
He got super into it.
He got into it.
Yeah, more social.
Those are super cool.
Kevin and I. He sent Kevin, like, he knows I love Star Wars, so he actually made his son Tommy, thank you if you're watching this, he made a Stormtrooper cigar rest holder. You see, boom.
And I got the Protocol Green cigar stand.
Yeah,
you probably can't see it. I know it's far away, but
that's cool.
Very cool. Like, his son is very talented.
And it just showed this is somebody whose son,
Al Berner,
awesome his son, because he's heard his father talk about Protocol Cigars and Juan and Kevin, and he said, I want to make them something. So he actually made this and got it out. This is, engaging with the people. Like, it's just amazing. The level of personal touch that this is, it's amazing. And it wasn't for...
It means the world to me that they do this. That's awesome.
And, one of the things, with us is, we this show is a product of, I just wanted to Zoom chat with my friend. And then it was like, well, why don't we do it publicly so that the whole world can watch? And now here we are. And we never did it because, we just wanted to be, another cigar coop or whoever. We did it because, we wanted a different feel to the show. We wanted it to really be that in the lounge, smoking with other people, have other people watch, feel like they're just in the lounge with us. We're serious about what we do, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. As a slogan that someone else had told me years ago, and I like to use it here. We do a good job. We put on a good show, but we're also we don't think of ourselves as this isn't a major television program on prime time. We put a good quality show together, but we also make sure that it's a comfortable feel, and that's what it is. And the virtual thing is huge because you can get it anywhere. And and we love all the people who support and watch the show. We love having guests like yourselves come on the show, and just hanging out, talking cigars, smoking cigars. That's really that's all we're trying to do here. So, and speaking of, I think there's something that we all can really chime in on. Something big happened this week. I was gonna wait and bring it up later, but I don't know. It feels right. I'm getting excited. You guys will probably have more input than I will, but there was a major announcement this week with the FDA, and a pretty good one. And so the FDA was ruled in their court case that they're going to push back on the substantial equivalence. That was indefinitely, and that's big news for everybody. But it sounds to me, we were having a little conversation before the show, but it sounds like that's really going to help you guys out at Protocol. How does that affect your business model going forward? Were there things in place that were going to hurt you or change your plan, and now you kind of have a little bit more freedom? How does that affect you guys?
So there's always things that you got to watch, right, with the FDA. You got to have everything mapped back to predicate at this point, right? If you were going to, long term want to have that cigar on market. We have a good lawyer. We have, Espinosa makes our cigars, for anybody that doesn't know, out of the Lazona factory. So we have a lot in their books that we can map things back to, right? That Eric has, and he's purchased some things. So we've been pretty fortunate. This just kind of, in the future, will now let us think more outside the box, if you will, because we've been thinking outside the box, but a little bit more freedom for us to come out with some things that don't have to be mapped back, right? We don't got to worry about, all right, was this in a 10 count box? Was this in a 20? Where's the FDA going to be? So this helps us out greatly. I think it helps out everybody, and I think this is a great thing for the cigar industry. We're going to win this together, not alone. Protocol is not going to win the fight against the FDA alone, and we need the big guys and the small guys to all step up and play their part. But yeah, this is a big weight off our shoulders right now, because that September 9th date, it was kind of going iffy there for a while, but I think the judge was just fed up with the FDA's lack of answers and the lack of direction, and just tabled it, and now there's indefinite. So that was huge news for us. I'm excited.
And John, in terms of a company like yours at La Flor Dominicana, how does that change anything you guys may have had going in the pipeline related to the substantial equivalence?
Fortunately, majority of my portfolio, and even parts of my portfolio that aren't actively out in the market, were pre-predicate date products since we started in 1994. So there was a ton of options for us. We were going to be in good shape one way or the other. But really, what it does for us is it doesn't put our products under a microscope. The FDA has said that it was, within this, there's a lot of key stuff that happened even before the ruling. They mentioned, essentially the judge was fed up with it. Like, this is ridiculous. Why is this still going on? This is in court. No. So we made a ruling on it, and the FDA has to go back and have a more streamlined process, per se. If they were to do substantial equivalency, it's yet to see what will happen with that. By the way, the government does everything slow.
Right.
It's taken Joe Biden 50 years to make a difference, and now is his time. Things take a lot of time. So the same thing with that. FDA works slow, so this is going to be years until they probably touch it again, or are able to touch it again, since that ruling's there. So they must do what
and they
the judge
also
said.
that in that same, if you read the judge or the FDA said that it is their lowest priority.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their lowest.
So you got
priority.
lowest priority, and they have to do this stuff. So it's already a low priority. Now it's going to be a low priority. It's something they got to do. So it's going to take forever. But yeah, it was big for us. At LFD, huge. Like products like the Andalusian Bull, one of the hottest cigars on the planet. I don't have to submit that or take that off the market until it's approved for substantial equivalency. We had a discussion today about a reblending and rebranding of one of our lines. So we wouldn't have had that discussion had that not happened. That wouldn't have been something that was going on. That's something that'll be in the future, not right now. But it changes the whole ball game for us. It gives some certainty in something that was very much uncertain.
So in terms of that's a huge win. I would say across the board, and I think that there's a lot of weight being lifted, off of a lot of people right now. And I did read another news headline today, and this one comes from our friends at the Cigar Authority. And that was the California flavored ban looks to set premium cigars at costing $12 wholesale. Now, I know this was kind of thrown around in legislation with some other things that were going on the federal level, but now I'm seeing this as being talked about just in California. And I'll start with Juan, and then we'll go to you, John. But if let's play the hypothetical game here. Let's say California, who has been known to pass some really crazy things over there, let's say they pass this and they set this precedent for the state of California. How does that affect you guys, and do you see that being the chain reaction that every state ends up doing it over time?
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin. Maybe.
Sorry.
He dropped the cigar.
I dropped my cigar. Sorry.
It happens to the best of us.
Party foul. It was done anyway. For us, we're not that big in California right now. It's been tough with the previous regulations there. You had to be within a distributor, and it's just not been a focus. We've had other territories that we were able to break into and do very well in. And we're fortunate that we're here in what we call it the Northeast. Jersey, I live in Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, that type of area. We're doing pretty well. So for us, it's not that much of a concern right now. We'll see what happens. The biggest thing was up in Mass. They were worried about the whole flavored thing. We had to fill out all that paperwork. But yeah, for us in California, it's not going to affect us too bad because we're not penetrated there. We'll see what happens in the future. I want to grow the business, but we'll see what happens with that. But hopefully that doesn't pass and that doesn't become a trend.
Yeah, and John, I would throw that over to you now. Same question.
So California's really unique. So one, they're crazy. The tax situation over there is insane. The way the government runs, it's not political. It's a mess. They're huge budget shortfalls, so they're trying to suck money out of anything possible. All this is a hidden tax. It's another way to increase the taxes on cigars because they're going to. One of the things they said is that it'd be a $12 minimum wholesale cost.
That means
that
means the cigars would be $24. Is that what you're
I would have to wholesale it at $12, and they're going to collect 67% tax off of that. So it's just another hidden tax, hidden with veiled with the anti-smoking stuff in the state. But California is an interesting situation because California is the #1 state for online cigars. It's the most populous state in the country, so it's not shocking. But it goes California, Texas, Florida are the 3 top places for online cigars. Populations in Texas, you can smoke more places. Florida, same thing. So people tend to buy more stuff online. But big population bases too. So if California, there's a couple things. If California does this, it's not like we're not going to sell cigars in California. It's just not going to sell as many to the retailers. It's still going to get shipped into the state somehow. So that's just a reality. Second, the flavor ban would be massive. Obviously, flavored tobacco products are huge. Like there's more acid blondies sold, in the entire country than we make. Than LFD makes cigars total. It's just huge.
Interesting note. I heard that Druid State was able to get around that with Mass because they're not flavored; they're infused. So there was some loophole they were able to make.
So there's some loophole, but those loopholes are essentially going to start getting closed, I think, in terms of flavored stuff, mainly because of this ruling with the FDA, which was huge, which excluded flavors entirely. So flavors are kind of on their own with the substantial equivalency type thing. And then you have these stuff. Now, the problem is there's a couple states around the country that they can try to compete with each other. So like Massachusetts does this flavor ban, and now California wants to do a flavor ban, and then they get crazier, and they want to have a $12 wholesale price. Now you have other states that want to compete with who's being the most nuts. Vermont is obviously the craziest, but it's tiny, so it doesn't affect anything. But you got Massachusetts, you got this trend. So the negative side of it is that sets some sort of a precedence. Like, for example, the warning label situation. The warning labels all started being acceptable because there's warning labels on everybody's boxes because the state of California requires it. So we have a little warning label on our boxes already. We're not required to have that anywhere else in the country, but specifically for California. And it's on there because you never know where a product might end up, or if it goes to California, you don't want to be against whatever that article of their ridiculous Constitution is. But a precedent is a bad thing. People start doing this like, oh, hey, well, now we can start doing that. And it goes into a conversation of where, we always have these discussions where online retailers it'd be nice if there was no online. That would be great, but we saw it, and I think we talked on the show once, we saw it in Maryland where they said no online cigars coming into the state. And the people are like, oh, great, we have a tax cap and there's no online cigars. So retail business booms for like a month. And then a month later, the state's like, oh, now we're going to raise the tax to like 90%. And it's like, well, you don't have the online retailer to defend you anymore. That's not an argument, because everybody always makes the argument, well, if you raise the tax, people are just going to buy online. So they take that away, and then they have the tax, and they've had some situations that have happened there. But yeah, I'm afraid of the precedents that would set, and then the ideas that people would get because of it. Right. In the reality of the business, if it was just California and nothing came of that, we're going to still, 98% of my business is brick and mortar retailer. I don't want to lose that. But California, there's 49 other states that are a little bit, that are much easier to deal with. So I hate to see that, but the precedence is going to be the negative thing in terms of the overall industry. And then on the individual level, I mean, it's just, who's going to spend $24? It's not $24. Who's going to spend $30 for a cigar you can buy for $8?
Right.
I mean, that's crazy. Like, why would you go to a retailer? And then you can't smoke in cigar bars or anywhere around there. So it's not like there's a huge amount of cigar bars there. So, essentially it snuffs out the sale of tobacco products in the state if they do that in terms of premium cigars.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't the first time that, someone like California has, been throwing around ideas that, not even just about cigars.
Just throw them around. They throw them around and do them. That's the scary thing.
Well, yeah,
right.
no, I mean, that's what, yeah, I know. I mean, they do it, but
a month later it happens. It's like, it's insane. The state of California, again, not to be political, this is just business. The state of California voted for a 30% increase on gas prices. They voted for it. Like, it's crazy. They vote for this stuff. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
and it's crazy. It's crazy that you can go and get weed anywhere in California and it's legal, but it's a natural leaf out of the earth, right? So if we're being honest about it, it's a natural leaf, right? One affects you different than the other, but it's a natural leaf out of the earth. Let's call it what it is.
So basically,
they're killing the weed market over there too. These growers and stuff that spend all their money and expecting to make all this money from the weed, they're not making any money because they can't get through the regulations. They're not allowed to do certain things. And there's just weed sold everywhere that comes from other places or this and that. And the people who should be making the money on the weed aren't even making the money. And the tax revenue is not the way it should be. It's crazy. They have zero idea of what they're doing over there. They just want to balance a balance sheet that's not balanced.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry.
That's okay. God damn it, Carney. I had a point I was going to make. I lost it. No, but yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time that California has, has done something like this or said they were going to do it. I mean, and yeah, they do follow through. But whether it's cigars or not, I mean, my personal opinion of California is it's just one of those places where it's just so mismanaged. These things always happen. I just feel like I'm always reading the headline that California wants to impose some law tax or otherwise, I just always scratch my head like, to what purpose? And like you said, it's like it's okay to smoke weed, which it gets you high, and everyone gets a high differently, I guess. But it affects your ability to do certain things, and that's a natural product out of the ground, and that was their argument. Oh, it's not drugs; it's a natural product. That's fine. But now you have the same thing with tobacco and cigars, which is all natural, leaves rolled up in a factory, and kept to a relative humidity, so there's water in them. And then there's vegetable. It's an all natural plant. It's grown out of the ground, and all of a sudden, well, we gotta that's not good for kids, and we gotta tax the shit out of it, and we want to take it away, and X, Y, and Z, and oh, maybe we should raise the smoking age to 25, I think. Was it Hawaii who said that? Or one of them said they wanted to go to 25. And it's like, all right, so you're afraid of kids smoking cigars, but you're not as concerned with kids just smoking weed. And look, I get it. Kids grew up smoking weed. It is what it is. But, yeah, shit like that. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like it's literally almost the same argument in a general sense. I mean, I know there's a lot of differences there, but in a general sense, it's the same argument. Like you said, it's you don't get two natural products, but one's getting more hate than the other, I guess, so to speak. It's just crazy. It's just crazy.
I 1,000% agree. My mindset is if you can go and die for your country at 18, you should be able to have a beer and you should be able to smoke a cigar. That is what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know.
And I've always said too, it's like if you want to raise the age of what it is to be an adult, raise it across the board.
Yes, the vote.
Like
everything.
If you want to go 21 on smoking, go 21 on military, go 21 on voting, go 21 on everything.
Right.
So if you're going to say that, if you want to go 25, you know what? Go 25. But it has to be 25 on everything. And guess what? 25 to drive a car. It's got to be the same number. When I'm an adult, I'm an adult. So yeah, you know, if it's to smoke a cigar, it's got to be 25. Then I'm not going to go to war until I'm 25.
Yeah.
So make it even. I think it's ridiculous. I think the age 18 is fine for all that stuff. But if you're going to raise it, raise everything. What's the difference? It's all about money. It's all about money. And it's going to be even more about money because we just printed $3 trillion worth of cash. Just watch. You want to see how creative these places get and these states get on collecting tax revenues, because the federal government's not going to bail them out that much anymore. They've already bailed everybody out a lot, and we're probably going to do it again, which is, you know, I wish we'd stop on a personal level. But you want to see these states, they're going to get very, very creative.
Yeah, we have some comments in the chat room here, and apparently there's some guys who don't know who you are, and I'm a little shocked here. And the Kevin Parrow says, who are these guys? Them two guys look familiar. Is that Kevin Costner and the guy from Narcos?
I saw somebody mention my finger stir. That's one of my specialties. I stir I've been known to
always in the studio. You always use your finger.
Stir my finger. Drink my finger.
It adds flavor. It adds character. You know, it's that special ingredient that gets.
It gives them essence of Juan in the drink.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was in Nicaragua in like 2017. I was making drinks. I was stirring them with my pinky because I was hammered, and everybody was like, every time I make somebody a drink, can you please stir it with your pinky? I'm like, all right, no, fine. It just became a thing.
So that's your signature move, the pinky.
Pinky mix.
The
pinky stir.
What was that? Oh yeah, so Dan Thompson from our friends at McAuliffe Cigars, Carninomics is basically what he's calling that last little bit from you. The Carninomics. That could be a whole that could be a whole a college class right there. Just your. Imagine
well, I could take
Professor Carney.
Carninomics with me, and you could do geography with one.
Yeah, he can show us
all
the shapes.
A road show. Economics and geography with Juan and John.
Juan can show us all these different shapes and tell us what parts of the world they're from.
Yes. Let's have a toast to shapes.
To shapes.
And economics.
Oh man, like I said, this is it's a hodgepodge of a show. We touch it all here.
Great.
But so where I'm looking at the time here, we're almost at the overtime segment. It's just about 9 o'clock here, and so before we get into the overtime section of the show and we get into our sports segment, Carney's got something for us. This is Carney's time to shine. So this is Carney's time to tell you and show you what it is the soap review is.
Okay, I'm ready.
So we have new people on today who may not be familiar with the soap. The soap review started at the beginning of COVID. When I was going through airports, I started going in and washing my hands. I've always noticed when I travel how little people clean themselves. It's not shocking to me that COVID spread in certain places because people don't wash their hands and they touch their faces and they cough and do all sorts of crazy stuff. When you're traveling, you get to see the best of it all. So I started doing these funny soap reviews and I was getting tips. And then COVID put a halt to it, so we started doing it as a segment here on the show. And uniquely, this week, I actually joined a soap club. It's called the Outlaw Soap Club. It's by Danielle and Russ Vincent. I don't know where they're from, but you can visit them at liveoutlaw.com. My only shower with outlaws.
Oh, nice.
But I joined their soap club. It's kind of manly soaps. Today, we're going to review the Outlaw Soap Fire in the Hole.
Wow. Are you gonna like take a shower live and like tell us how it lathers? Are you gonna do that? That'd be a great aspect of it.
we've actually had some requests for me to do it from a shower. So once I get into a little bit better shape here, from my post-COVID workout routine, I may do a live shower routine, but I am going to wash my hands right here in person.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
So,
John, maybe
fire in the hole, explode.
Sorry,
Pardon?
I just was gonna say maybe next weekend we could maybe film. It might have to be pre-recorded so we can edit it out for the nudity, but maybe we could film a shower segment with you in the pool house shower.
I'm gonna be down at the Tobacco Estate this next weekend. So yeah, that'd be actually excellent. We could do it very tastefully. But this is Fire in the Hole. It's explosively awesome. Here's what it's described as: Fire in the Hole officially smells like gunpowder, campfire, whiskey, bacon, sagebrush, and dirt.
Wow.
It unofficially smells like exactly.
Combined, you put it together. All that plus equals manhood.
Yes. Very
It unofficially smells like insanity, excitement, and overwhelming joy. It looks like fire. It is, in my estimate, the most awesome soap ever in the history of ever.
It sounds like a good time in a bar.
Soap could change your life.
Not a bar, but like in a soap bar. You get me? Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the soap. It does look like flames and fire. This would definitely fall into the craft soap category that we have. So craft soap.
Smell it. Does it smell like any of those things they talked about? You smell gunpowder in there?
No, I don't smell like that. But it does have a distinct smell, but they didn't tell me what it should smell like. So I am getting a little sage, but I don't identify a lot of scents. Personally, I'm not like a super taster or super smeller, but it's very aromatic.
Shannon Brown
and
comments,
does
it burn? Asking for a friend.
Well, it's definitely on fire, and I haven't tested in the nether region, so maybe we can test this there. But yeah, it does look awesome. So this is definitely craft soap.
It's definitely pretty.
Yeah, it is really nice. It's got kind of a waxy feel to it when I scrape it with my finger here. It's not oily. It's not greasy at the dry touch. So here we go. Also from them, next week I'll be doing another soap review for them. It'll be called Lust in the Dust. So we'll be doing that. But so there'll be at least 2 soap reviews every month from the Outlaw soap.
Love it.
They also have men's dry colognes. So they have these same scents in that solid cologne, which is kind of like a waxy thing you put on your skin. And they also have liquid versions too. But Outlaw soap, not a sponsor. They just got a big shout out. So maybe they will be a sponsor sometime on there, or one of our affiliate partners. So, okay, here we go. So I did get warm water. So here's my water bucket.
Okay.
So I like to touch the soap first without any water, and then I like to touch it with a little bit of water. So we're in there. Again, not very greasy. These craft soaps are really unique. They can be either waxy or oily. It's not greasy, but it's definitely oily, and it's with very little touching and scrubbing. We are getting some froth. So I'll get a little more water here, and we'll get a good wash going. I like to dip the bar in the water too, just to get it wet. So here we go. We're getting a decent lather. Unlike non-craft soaps, like the soaps you buy at a store, when you get this lather going, it gets really white.
Right.
And that's just, it gives you the image of cleanliness. I don't know if it's good. It usually feels a little astringent when you're done from the chemicals after it dries, but we're getting a good lather here.
I see it.
And it's really a soap lather, and it's not super white, and it's foamy. It's kind of got a nice foam to it, some little bubbles. It's not overpowering in scent. It does have, you know what? I'm getting some gunpowder.
Wow.
I'm definitely not getting the bacon, but I am getting a little campfire. I also have a campfire going. But yeah, we got some lather here. We're going to do the 20 seconds or more. It's getting real lathery. And not greasy, though.
And you're killing all the germs at the same time.
Yep. Not overpowering scent. I can almost pull mouth into it. It's a subtle smell. It's not like the ones we've done the last couple of weeks. I did the other craft soaps I did a few weeks back, or heavily essential oil. You could tell I did that lavender one. This is really transforming on my hands here. It's transforming into a foam, which is really cool. I kind of like it. Give me a nice sense of cleanliness. So there we are on that. This is good so far, Matt. This is good. Oh, wow.
Excited. I didn't want to interrupt too much during this, but
everybody's excited. I'm excited.
So it's really.
I may be a little bit aroused, actually.
It does have a sexual side to it, most certainly.
That's the first time I've heard that.
But a few dumps in the water, and the soap's gone, which is great. I'm not going to have to dump the whole thing.
How's the finish on there?
The scent's not overpowering, which I like. I don't like that overpowering scent on your hands. I've made it known that when I have an overpowering scent on my hands after washing, I tend to eat with my hands a lot,
Right.
and I just don't like that smell. Like hand sanitizers, I can't do the hand sanitizers with aloe vera. Just too much, doesn't go away. Really natural, clean, very clean. You can see it. The
Wow, your
hands,
hands look exceptionally clean.
yeah. So I'm gonna. This is a great soap. Visually super appealing.
Do you
The
guys have
touch-
a scale? Like, would we do this like a 1 to 10 and name it? Like, where would you put this?
So we have
rating system?
categories.
All right.
Nothing's official. We have categories. So this falls into the craft soap category. We have mainstream soaps, which would be like your Dials, Irish Spring, Dove,
Ivory.
things like that. But this would definitely be craft soap. Man, I'm liking this. This is gonna go 8.9. This is an 8.9.
Wow.
8.9. This is by far the best soap I've probably ever used. I'm not going to give it a 10. I don't like going into the 9s because I will never give a 10 on a soap because there's got to be something that's better. So right now, this is the upper echelon. So the Outlaw Soap Fire in the Hole, I joined the club. I'm not disappointed. The soaps I generally use, I get rid of after. I will keep this and use this until it's gone and put it into my collection. But yeah, Fire in the Hole, 8.9. Super good on the hands. Not a lot of scent after.
What's the cost on a bar?
You know what? I think this was $14.
Now, we actually have a photo of this
So-
pack that John sent us earlier, and I think Nicole might have that in a second, and she'll put it up on the screen. And it was an interesting little setup there, and it even came with some, what were they, those colognes that they came with as well.
Well, it's got solid cologne.
Solid
so
cologne.
So the
I've
solid
got-
cologne, you actually rub it on your skin and
Yeah.
it leaves a
We can do a bonus. We can do a bonus here. I've got Blazing Saddles. I've got the
great movie. Let's
Gambler.
do that one.
Yep, we got Gambler. I've got Fire in the Hole as well, and the Badlands and Calamity Jane. So let's. Blazing Saddles is a good movie. I love it. One of my favorites. But I want to use the same thing that I
movie
watched.
would not make it. That movie wouldn't come out today.
God,
No.
no.
Too
A lot of
politically
things
correct.
wouldn't. A lot of things wouldn't, yeah.
So, I will say, the cologne smells different. The Fire in the Hole cologne smells different, but just take it out here. Just a little disc. You just rub it on you. It melts down a little bit naturally. Put it in all the sensitive, nice places that the ladies like.
What ladies? You don't have any ladies.
Nice.
It's good. Definitely, I'm gonna tell you, the cologne, the dry cologne's nice. I like it. This is only the first time I've ever used it, but I get the concept. It melts down and stays on your skin. It's really good. It smells different than the actual soap. But yeah, really good.
So
So yeah, 8.9 on Fire Outlaw Club. Highly recommend it. Hopefully they keep coming in strong.
So with that, we are actually going to be heading into our next segment, which is going to be our sports segment, which is brought to you by Platinum Nova Cigars. Platinum Nova, make Nova big. Shout out to those guys. So this is
Let's have a toast to Nova Cigars.
yeah, let's have a toast. There it is. As we continue to drink water over here, because we're not having as much fun tonight, I guess.
You guys are definitely not getting hammered, but you are going to the bathroom soon.
Yeah, well, I will say that next weekend is going to be a jam-packed weekend for Carney and I, because we'll actually be together and have a weekend together. And it was already discussed. We have an event that we have going on Friday, so we got to be on our game Thursday night. Up and early, do our event Friday, and then Friday night into the rest of the weekend.
Where's the event?
It's a golf event up in New Hampshire, up in Amherst, New Hampshire.
It's for the Cigar Association of New Hampshire. It's a fundraiser they do. Fortunately, outdoor events like that are good and socially distanced. So Smoking Tobacco and La Flor Dominicana will be participating in that. We're doing a par 3 contest. And so we'll be doing that on Friday. And then immediately after that, we will be getting absolutely shithoused.
Yes. So when I do drink, I'm a big bourbon guy myself. So I'm really into
What's
a
your
lot
favorite? What's your favorite bourbon?
right now, it changes. I mean, my all-time. That's a tough one. I'm gonna say Blanton's is like my all-time, but right now, I'm super into the Stag Junior. It's just, I love it. It's a really good one.
Oh,
It's high in proof. I have two bottles right now from two different batches. One batch is 128.4, and I believe the other one is the Springs batch was 132 proof. So
Cool.
yeah, it was some higher proofs, but they are delicious, and I've been crushing through that the last few times. I mean, I don't really drink a lot of bourbon in the summertime. I usually drink a lot lighter, but it's been a little cooler up here, and I've been starting to drink as I prepare for fall. I'm not saying we're at fall yet. Don't shoot me. I know there's people out there who don't want the summer over, but as you know, it's been a little cooler. I've been busting out the bourbon again, and I've been going through the Stag Junior, and also the E.H. Taylor bottled in bond is another fantastic one.
That's a good bottle.
Yeah, that's a really good one if you can find it. And that's the thing with a lot of these. Yeah, you know, if you can find it. But when you do, it's a big win, and I'm excited. I uncork them and start drinking them. They're just fantastic. So yeah,
our staple here is Bullet Rye. We just go through bottles of Bullet Rye here.
Bullet Rye, yeah. I haven't really been getting into the ryes myself lately, but it's on my list to really start experimenting with the ryes. Maybe take a break from bourbon, but just go into rye and get around, because I see them all the time, and I don't know why. I was like, no, bourbon, but the rye is definitely next on my list to conquer.
Yeah.
Hey, Carney, next time you're in the area, we'll give you an invite to the office. I make a very decent old fashioned.
I would love to.
I'd love to make you. It's okay.
I can say it. I'm independent.
You can say it.
It's the best.
I cannot say it because I'm biased, because I'm the one making it. But it's a pretty decent old fashioned.
Yeah.
I'm a huge old fashioned fan.
Speaking of which, Nikki from Famous told me to tell you that she's been trying to reach out to you like 3 or 4 times. So if you get a chance, give her a call. I don't know if it's about an event maybe she wants to do or something, but she's been. I don't know if she said emails or text. She was like, "Yo, ask Carney what's up. I've been trying to get in contact with him." So
yeah, we had. I certainly will. Thank you for that. We had something set up for October. Mm-hmm. We were going to do one of our cocktail parties, and traditionally at the cocktail party, coincidentally, we do old fashions. So per my request, so I will definitely take you up on that, and I will definitely get a hold of Nikki. Good people over there at Famous, and they do a great job. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that in October. It'd be fun to be able to do something finally in store there.
Yeah, when you come in, definitely. Like, we're literally maybe 15 minutes from Famous, something like that.
Yeah, I'll make it a point. 100%.
Yeah, if that, 10 minutes. Yeah.
So, John,
we'll just get wrecked on old fashions.
So, John, fill us in on because this is kind of it's a segment within a segment. It's
John Carney reporting from the bubble, the NBA bubble. NBA, I'm a big basketball fan. I'm a huge sports fan in general, but NBA in general. Today was a big day in NBA sports. The NBA 2020 draft lottery just happened. It just ended. The Minnesota Timberwolves will have the number 1 pick in the draft, and the Golden State Warriors are going to have the number 2 pick. But to keep it regional, the Celtics got a draft pick from Memphis. They had Memphis's first-round draft pick, and Memphis was in the lottery. They had the least amount of little balls, all of them. Yeah, and they were actually in the bubble but they lost, and they were in the top 14, which are in the draft lottery, and the Celtics will be picking 14th as the last lottery pick. But the bubble's been awesome, man. They're in the NBA playoffs right now. Right now, the Lakers just tipped off. They lost game 1. The Lakers are the top seed. They lost to the Portland Trailblazers, and Portland's been ridiculous. The big thing the bubble's done is there's no traveling. So like home games and away games aren't really not relevant anymore because you don't have the bias by the fan base. You don't have that loud in-person environment. So there's not really home court advantage. So it's been fun in the playoffs. It's been a really different basketball. It's been a fun basketball for me to watch. I think it's been good for the NBA in terms of the game. I've been on the record as saying, obviously the NBA is making very vocal political statements, but the NBA is significant portion of their players and their employees are black. So it's not a shock. So if you're tuning into the NBA and the Black Lives Matter thing, you don't like that, you will see it. But in my opinion, I've always said you got to understand where those people are coming from, and especially when it's the significant portion of their people are representative of that. But the NBA has been a great product. It's been by far the best sport in terms of watching, and we're right in the middle of the playoffs right now, and it could go anywhere. The Celtics looked awesome the other night. The Celtics' biggest competition is probably going to be the Milwaukee Bucks. They just won tonight, but they lost their first game to Orlando, who's the 8th seed. So a lot of cool stuff going on in the bubble. But my pick is, depending on what happens with the Lakers tonight, it'll be interesting. Portland's by far the best team in the bubble. And they went in as they were like the 10 or 9 seed, so they got up to the 8th seed. They're 8-0 right now, 9-0 right now in the bubble. They haven't lost the game, I don't think. So it's exciting, a lot of stuff going on there, and that's the update on basketball. But again, everybody knows my love for that, and I think the product they put together, the political stuff aside, that's slowed down a lot. It was a little bit overkill. I think sports leagues should stay out of that avenue and that arena. But it's been a great product, and it's been good for the NBA, and it's been good for the viewers during this time. So yeah, but I don't know who's going to go. I'm not going to make my pick on the finals until after the first round's over, when I get the chance to watch. But I watched like 4 games today, and I'm all over. I'm watching a game right now.
Yeah, it's always that's like I was saying before. That's kind of turned into a segment within a segment. John is really passionate about basketball, and we kind of let him just run away with that one every week. And but in terms of other sports, we'll keep it regional. For us being in New England, as we like to do. Bruins advance in the NHL playoffs. They've advanced to the next round. They beat the Carolina Hurricanes. I think they're waiting for, is it the Islanders and the Capitals series to conclude. Tuukka Rask, the primary starting goaltender for the Boston Bruins, has opted out of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs for the rest of the season, citing family concerns and wanted to be with his family. But something tells me that it just had to do with the comments he made 2 days prior to that announcement, where he said that the playoff bubble just did not feel right. It didn't feel like the real playoffs. Obviously without the crowd there, and like you were saying with the home court advantage, the home ice advantage and the fans, and it being just kind of silent. Apparently he took that a little bit too. I think he took it a little bit too much to heart and felt like, well, this isn't really an avenue to play professional sports, so I'm just going to sit this one out. Now, of course, he cited family concerns, but it's hard to believe that when 2 days prior it's, well, this doesn't really feel like the playoffs, and then all of a sudden it's, well, I don't want to play. Don't really agree with that move on his part. I think that shows his character. He doesn't want to be a team player. If you're a team, you're playing a sport regardless of the situation. Everyone's dealing with this right now. All the sports are doing this. The NBA's in a bubble. MLB's not in a bubble per se, but they're doing their thing. The NFL's preparing for whatever they're going to look like, come football season. So it's not like it's just the Bruins. And, well, it doesn't feel right, so I'm going to sit this one out. I mean, he has that right to make that decision, but I don't know if I agree with it. So that's what's going on with hockey for the most part. And then, there's baseball, and not much can really be said here. The Red Sox aren't really performing too well. I think they had a losing streak. I want to say it was it 7 games or so? I don't know if John, I don't know if you've been following. I haven't really been following baseball myself, but I know they haven't been doing too well.
Yeah, I'm a Red Sox fan, obviously, by heart, but I honestly, baseball's boring to watch. It's even more boring to watch when there's no fans.
Yeah.
And it's not a great product. And I don't know, you guys are into sports. Out of the product that's out there to watch, basketball is the most entertaining. Overall, better camera angles. Baseball is just awkward. It's really awkward to watch.
Well, it's going to be interesting, like you said.
I'm more of a football guy.
Well, and
so let's move on to football, because the baseball, nobody even wants to watch baseball right now, let alone even talk about it. I mean, talking about baseball must be even more boring than watching the game. I can't even imagine.
So, I mean, that was really going to be my next segue is into football, because I think you brought up a good point, and that was, baseball, and this is your opinion and interpretation, but, baseball was boring to watch. It's even more boring without fans. Now, let's look at football. So the NFL season hasn't started yet. We're starting to get glimpses of what it's going to look like. Here in Massachusetts, they announced that the Patriots, I don't know if this is going to be league-wide with other teams, but so far for Massachusetts, said that the Patriots cannot host any games at Gillette Stadium through at least September. So we're going to be looking at empty home games at Gillette Stadium. Now, football obviously is a different sport, and it is fun to watch, but football is one of those sports where the crowd in the stadium is almost just as much as part of the game as the game itself. John, especially with the Patriots, specifically, what is, that classic Foxborough look like that's always packed to the gills? And, we're going into our first season without Tom Brady and that whole thing. We have Cam Newton, which is cool, and we'll see how that plays out. But we're going to watch that happen in an empty Gillette Stadium.
Yeah, football's made for television. It's better watching on television. It'll be weird without the fans, but it's still going to be a great game. Most of the teams in the league, are professionals at pumping in fake fan noise anyway, because they don't actually have a fan base.
Atlanta Falcons.
So, Colts, Jets, Giants, all that stuff.
All the teams from New York.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's going to be a good product. I think they're going to have something fun. They're going to have challenges with COVID. They're going to have tests positive. Nobody in the NBA bubbles tested positive. They're going to be people that test positive, I think, with the NFL. But it'll be a good product. And you guys probably are fans of some of those teams that I ragged on, so you're well aware of the quality of crowd noise that they can produce.
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm an Eagles fan.
I'm
an
Eagles
fan.
fan. Oh, okay. Well, you're welcome.
No, they fall under the same. They fall under the same category.
You're welcome
Our
for
fans
52.
Are just, douchebags. Yeah.
So you're an Eagles fan. Okay, Juan. So do you follow football at all? Do you follow any sports? I know you mentioned
Zero. I watch Star Wars. That's why
we watched the Super Bowl here, and he goes, "That was a great home run."
The geography of that ball is amazing.
So no sports. Wow, that's interesting. I don't know. I don't know why.
This was bizarre. I don't know. Just the way it happened. I don't know.
I just got this vibe that you're like at least like a football guy. I don't know. You got nothing.
Not for nothing. I will watch this might sound retarded, but I'll watch the World Series, the Super Bowl, even the Stanley Cup.
The big games.
I'll watch it because they're fun and people, but I could care less who wins or whatever. And I watch it more for the commercials. Actually, when the commercials come on, I'm like, oh wow, look at that commercial, it was awesome.
I will admit, if you are going to watch it,
Super Bowl, phenomenal.
They are phenomenal.
They spend so much money on them too. It's insane.
Some of them actually go on for that one, 30-second, shot, and that's it. You'll never see them again. So
Kevin, as an Eagles fan, what's your take on Carson Wentz? Because they tried to run that guy out of town 2 of the last 3 years, and he had one injury. He was going to be the MVP, and now people want him down.
We can't keep a freaking quarterback healthy. We should have kept Foles, and I'm gonna say that we should have just let Wentz go. He can't stay healthy. We got to keep Foles, but we let him go, and it is what it is. So they still want to run Wentz, but I don't know. The same with Michael Vick, and I have my issues with him. But he would always put himself in harm's way, and I get it. But there's another down. Right? You don't go on second down and then you break your ribs. I know you want to be a hero, but you got to protect yourself too. You're the quarterback, and he would always
have a toast to the Eagles.
Thank you, Juan.
Yeah, you guys are on your own on that one. I'm not even toasting water.
Yeah, no. Nope.
Freaking quarterback throws for 500 yards and 87 touchdowns, and we freaking lose.
Well, you know what? That was one thing I wanted before I died. I don't care if we win another one, but we beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I was very happy. I bought a bottle of champagne at Famous Smoke Shop that evening.
I do remember that.
Actually. That was freaking amazing.
It was I as a fan of the game, obviously a fan of football, I was disappointed as a fan of the Patriots. That was one of the better Super Bowls. And by the way, most of the Super Bowls the Patriots have been in have been really good Super Bowls. A lot of back and forth. And the most recent one was a defensive battle. It was their biggest margin of victory ever. But that one with the Eagles was awesome. That was a great balls to the wall from.
And I'm not saying because we won. It was just a good Super Bowl.
It was awesome.
No, it was a good Super Bowl. Yeah,
famous.
It was a complete game across the board. It was that game. It was scoring from the beginning to the end. If you watch the Patriots Super Bowl against the Falcons was awesome for a half. If you're a Patriots fan, the second half was awesome because you won. If you weren't a Patriots fan, the first half of you was great. It wasn't good. The second half wasn't good football. It wasn't back and forth. It was the Patriots driving it down their throats. That Eagles game was incredible. That was
went down to the wire. And I think, I may be wrong, but I think it was something like 26 seconds, a minute, 26 seconds. I don't know. I just remember 26. But Brady gets the ball back, and I'm like, you don't give Brady the ball back. I was like, that is going to end us. Like whenever he has the ball, I'm like freaking out. And then we won the game, and I was like all over the moon. But yeah, that was just a great Super Bowl. I was on the edge of my freaking seat.
By the way, Brady had no idea who he was about to throw that ball to when he got strip sacked at the end. If he hadn't got strip sacked, somebody on the Patriots would have caught the friggin' ball.
That would have been over.
I don't put anything past them. Nothing, you know.
Yeah,
but no, it was a great game, and I said I got a lot of respect for that, and I said it was awesome. It was one of the few that at the end of the game, man, that sucked. I was ticked, but I was like, man, that was fun.
Yeah, that was a great game. That's what it's about for me, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can watch the game and walk away with it with a good attitude, win or lose, I mean, I guess that's always the most important part. You know, some people, you know, there's definitely people who are more passionate about it, and they'll take it to heart a little bit more. But, you know, yeah, it's all about the enjoyment of the game. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. You know, and being from New England, being in the Super Bowl every year,
we just get to enjoy it more often.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, you guys got it pretty easy up there, but you know, I'm a Philly fan, so you know, Sixers, Flyers, Eagles, so I don't see those things that often. Phillies, when I do, I enjoy it, but I'm used to it. You know, I don't like it, but I'm used to it.
Well, yeah, it's unique you brought that up. There's currently a Boston sports team beating down on a Philly sports team in the NBA. The Celtics are actually playing the Sixers.
Right.
And the Sixers are quite outmatched right now. But it's a good series and it's a fun one to watch. For me, when I think Philly sports, especially in my lifetime, they're always good. They're always got good players. They're always got a lot of excitement. Every year the talent looks like they could make it. And they can't seem to put it all together, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It just never comes together. Like like Carson Wentz to have an MVP season and then he injures himself, you know, and then the whole season changes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, look, you know, like I really liked Andy Reid. Look, he finally won a Super Bowl with Kansas City, but you know, I liked him, but I didn't like Donovan McNabb. I didn't think he was the right quarterback for Andy Reid, you know. And he got removed, and finally we got one. But
that's an interesting question. That's an interesting point you bring up. So he wasn't the right quarterback for Andy Reid, but they went to 2 Super Bowls. So like, what do you want more than that?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we went, but you know, was he the right guy? When the time, look, I'm in business, right? So when you got to perform, you got to perform, and the guy's throwing up on the field. I mean, come on, dude. Like, I thought you were better than that.
Against the Patriots, by the way.
Yeah, against the Patriots, right? Exactly.
Exactly. He should have done the TB12 method, and his pliability would have been great.
Absolutely. Now, the question is Cam Newton going to apply the TB12 method down there in New England? Probably not. I will
tell you, Cam Newton has smoked at Protocol Cigars because we gave him one in Club Macanudo, New York.
Oh, you were there with him that day,
I was
right?
there.
You can tell that story. Go ahead. That's an interesting little story.
We happened to be there, and Alan Foder, who's one of our good friends, he's FDNY, marching the parade, sees Cam Newton over on the side, and he goes, "I'm giving him a cigar." And I'm like, "Dude, don't mess with the guy. Like, you know, I'm a guy that doesn't want to, mess with celebrities."
You want a refill?
All right, sure. I'm trying to.
I just told Carney you were looking for him. Nikki just walked in.
Oh, Nikki's here?
Yeah,
Nikki's
come
here,
in,
yeah.
show your
She's
pretty
gonna
face
say hi.
right about here.
Yeah, we'll catch up tomorrow for sure.
There she is.
Are we on for October?
Are we on for October?
Yeah,
she said yes.
She said yes.
All right, cool, awesome.
So Alan's like, "No, I'm gonna go over. Give me some Protocol." He's like, "Hey, I'm FDNY." He goes, "I want nothing from you, whatever. Just wanted to give you some cigars." You know, he was a rep at the time for the company as well. And all of a sudden, Cam Newton gets up, comes over, he taps my phone, swipes it, and he starts taking selfies with all of us and him. And I'm like, "Dude, stand up, dude." And he smoked my cigar, so I was like super pumped. Like, really nice guy.
Look, here's the Pinky Stir live.
There everybody. It is.
There you go. Beautiful. This is beautiful. It's almost as sensual as the soap review.
Yeah, just with a little bit more of a lighter touch.
Think how clean that Pinky could be with fire in the hole. The name alone sounds tremendous. My Pinky and the Fire in the Hole.
It sounds like I ate like crazy hot wings.
That looks like a Pornhub search history.
And the next day,
it does.
Fire in the Hole.
Juan has a point. It really could be. It could be a Pornhub search history item. Something that I assume Carney would watch.
That's a great question you guys could ask. Top 3 Pornhub history searches.
There's another podcast that does that one.
Yeah, there is one. But tell us. I know we're getting close to the end, but
We
I
are.
want
We're
to know.
almost up.
Tell us about the pool party. Tell us about the pool party.
Oh, it was awesome.
I saw
So
model shots, very tasteful modeling shots.
So basically, really quick. So it's something we have done. This was technically our 3rd year doing the pool party. The first 2 were at Kevin's house. It started at something we just wanted to have a pool party with some of our local supporters, and it started off. Kevin, I'll let you talk. You talk about it. Go ahead.
So it started at my house, and it was like, all right, we're gonna have 25 people, and all of a sudden 40 people show up. Following year, all right, we're going to up it a little bit because people, wanted the invite. They saw, what went on. And then, it was my birthday, so I wanted to have a kind of a bash. And, 60 people show up. So my house can only hold so much. I have a decent place, but, it takes a toll. And it's a lot, on, me and my wife. So this year, we did something where we decided we were going to get a third-party location. And with COVID, it was hard to do. But we still wanted to do it, and it was a 7-acre property, full social distancing. We kept it to about 125 people, 115 showed up, and we had masks, we had wristbands, so everybody knew where they were. If you were red, don't come near me. Yellow, ask me. Green, I'm full party, kiss me. And we're now over 2 weeks, and not one person got COVID.
There was like jokes in the industry. There were like bets how many people are gonna come out with COVID, and thank God, knock on wood. There's wood right here.
We
not one person, and we're at least 18 days past. Not one person there.
Yeah, not one person got COVID. So we're super happy about that. We did hire the Go Girls to be there. They also work Cigars International, C-Fest. But I got a line on them. We were we wanted to diversify the event because we were very male heavy. So we hired them, and we got some nice pictures with them. They were there, helped out, did raffle tickets. We had Jeff Brown.
The girls were very classy, very classy, very engaging, and they entertained the guys, and
I got no complaints on the girls.
Class. It was an amazing thing. It was great.
Yeah. But we just had a blast. We did a limited cigar release for that event. If you showed up, you got the Protocol Pool Party, 10-pack with your ticket price. You had lobster tail. The lobster tail was amazing. I thought it was going to be like, all right, it's going to be lobster. No, it was a full freaking lobster. It was amazing. And we just had a blast. DJ Jason Leiterman killed it.
Did a great job.
Yeah,
it was just fun.
Crazy raffles, which is a good time.
And then the thing about it, if there was any indoor aspect of that, like we don't want to put our supporters' lives in danger. So if there was an indoor aspect at all, we probably would have canceled. But it was all outdoors, and you're talking about a place that holds comfortably about 2,200 people. We have 115 there. So now, when you look around, like everybody did a good job of social distancing. There was little packs and stuff, but it was just amazing.
Everybody's temperature was checked on the way in.
Yep.
Waivers were signed. Everything. We have their temperature on the waivers. We have them all. It's like, and we had some of the best support. Nikki was kind of the
bartender.
Well, she was the bartender, but she also helped plan a lot of the event. It was awesome. And we had a lot of friends. Kristen Van Dyke was unreal. She made me sign my own waiver and took my temperature at the party. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I'm working. She's like, no, you need to sign this, and you're getting your temperature checked. I'm writing it down. Everyone in here. And
so everybody had normal temperatures. We didn't turn anybody away, and it was just amazing. It was a good time.
It was awesome. We had a blast. And the parking lot party afterward was amazing.
That was actually a lot more fun.
Well, that's really
we
cool.
Actually got to party.
It's really cool you guys were able to put on an event. And especially with times like this, have it go off as a success, and no one got sick. So that's a pretty that's props to you guys. I'll give
imagine
another cheers
in a
to you
pandemic
guys.
we had 115. I have a toast to that. At a pandemic we had 115 people there. Imagine next year. Hopefully the pandemic's gone. I'm probably thinking easily 200, 250. We'll keep growing it. The place. We might change the place. Maybe not. We don't know.
But we got to figure it out. Yeah.
But we're definitely going to do that every year. It's going to be a yearly event for us.
That'll be a yearly event. Yeah, that's us to let loose, let the supporters come, have a good time, release a limited edition cigar. I mean, we had guys buying tickets to the event.
They weren't even going.
They didn't even come.
They just wanted the cigars.
I just want the cigars. And send me the neck gaiters, send me whatever came with it. Now we hooked them up. We made sure that they were made whole. And we did it all through Royal Leaf, one of our shops in Jersey. And Deep Pittman, I love her. She's awesome. But we did it all through her, and massive support from everybody.
I think we wound up selling like 27 boxes that day, right? Something like that.
Yeah. It was a great day, and a ton of swag. We had swag table. Andy Klein was working with me. Yeah, he was having a blast. But the models were hanging out with him, so he was having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we are getting towards the end of the show. Before we close out here, we usually end off with a couple of closing remarks. I'm going to throw it to the guys at Protocol first, and then John will go to you, and then I'll close out the show. So, guys, thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. It was great getting to smoke with you, talk with you, just hanging out. So, thank you for coming on.
Do you want like words of wisdom from us? Is that kind of what you're looking for?
Whatever you want. It can be whatever you want to say.
I'll give you two words of wisdoms or two tips I'm going to give you, right? Tip number 1, always look for signs from God. Always look for a sign that's going to tell you to do something. And then you do it, you have a blast. And my second tip is always choose option 3. That's an inside joke, but those of you that know, always go with option 3.
Was option 3 a sign from God? Asking for a friend?
Maybe.
Okay.
So I'll tell you real quick. We were at an event last year in Jersey, and I'm like, the event's over. It's like 4 or 5 of us hanging out at the shop. I'm like, all right, what are we going to do? We're just going to, option 1, we could stay here and have some more cigars and chit-chat and then go home. Option 2, we can go across the street. There's a bar over there that lets you smoke. We'll have a few drinks, a few cigars, have a good time. Or option 3, we find the nearest strip club, hang out to like whatever time, and then we drive to Philly and have some cheesesteaks like gangsters. And of course, we chose option 3. It was a great night.
I think the key to that is to always have 3 really good options.
Yeah, have 3 good options. Yeah, and then choose option 3.
My thing is real simple, and I always say it, but let's be good to one another, right? You don't know what anybody's going through, and we can have different opinions on things, politics, life, whatever it is, but just be good to one another. And I think, if you live your life that way, I think the world would be a better place.
I want to add one quick thing. I want to say thank you guys for having us on, and thank you for our supporters, because we have an amazing core line of supporters that just support us. They're watching right now, and if it wasn't for them and for their support, we wouldn't be here right now. Keep doing what we're doing. So let's have a toast to our supporters.
Oh, they're freaking awesome.
They are
you guys. All you out there, thank you so much.
Absolutely. We love all supporters. Your supporters, our supporters, that's what makes all of it work, and that's what makes all of us continue to be able to do all these things that we love. So shout out to all supporters out there watching. Carney, you got anything you want to close out with?
Yeah, we got Hacking Gourmet back on Monday, August 24th. It will be a seafood special. It will be grilling and cooking seafood. It will be called Grilling Nemo is the name of that episode. So Grilling Nemo. Fred Rui has not yet confirmed if he is or is not going to be cooking. As he said, he doesn't know if he has any good fish. He's in the Pacific Northwest. I told him he could probably find some great fish. But yeah, we should have all 3 of the hackers cooking on Monday. But yeah, 5 p.m. Eastern time, Hacking Gourmet, Grilling Nemo.
Make sure you guys tune into that.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. A couple of little shout-outs. We're getting ready to release our massive giveaway that we're planning for the Smoke and Tobacco 1-year anniversary. I did a little teaser on that online. I'm sure some of you guys saw it. But we're going to do a full release of that probably sometime next week, as well as announce who is going to be on the show for our 1-year anniversary week, and that's going to be a big one. Really excited. Also, pending a couple of details, there also will be an announcement as to who our guest will be next week. Also could be another potential a big guest that we're really excited about, someone who may or may not have been mentioned on the show tonight. But I'm not going to say anything else. I'm not going to drop any other hints.
It might just be me. It might just be me, guys. I'm going to be live at the Tobacco Estate, so it could just be me.
It very well might be. It's either going to be that or someone from at least one other Dominican cigar manufacturer. But I've already said too much. So we're pending details on that. And as soon as that information is ready, we will share it with you guys. So stay tuned. Carney will be with us in person next week, sitting side by side with me. So God only knows what's going to happen there. And other than that, we'll see you guys next week. So stay smoky.
Awesome. Thank you.